Sunraku logs out briefly for a drink and snack, but logs back in and encounters Rei. They struggle to find a topic to discuss before Rei mentions Sunraku's guild, Traveling Wolfgang, and asks if they are recruiting new members. Sunraku is relieved it's just a recruitment query, but feels their guild is not powerful enough to compete with top guilds. Rei's armor gives her high stats and destructive power, which Sunraku is intimidated by, but Rei just requests non-lethal force if they ever come to a fight. Sunraku brags about clearing a unique Scenario X with only 3 people. Their guild depends on careful planning and strategizing, but couldn't hold their ground in battles with sheer numbers. Sunraku wonders if it's okay to exclude Rei from the party that joined their guild, and decides there's no reason to keep it a secret. Rei asks about the guild's open spots, but suggests discussing it later. Sunraku worries about the conversation's delayed timing. Sunraku drinks a new energy drink, Riot Blood Revolving Lantern, and feels its immediate effects. They rush to the throne room for a raid. Sunraku wonders if mixing energy drinks affected their short-lived energy. They need to solve the mystery quickly before the effects wear off. Sunraku learns a lesson about being careful with energy drinks. Sunraku feels his senses sharpened after drinking a strange energy drink. He and his team find a humanoid crystal behind a throne, potentially the stone from a diary. They consider selling it for money, but notice an inscription on the throne, which Sunraku suggests destroying to solve the mystery. Sunraku and Rust grab gemstones from the crystal's eyes and necklace, despite protests. Sunraku questions the symbolism of kingship and notes that the key to unlocking doors in a game is never in the same place. The new ruler must familiarize themselves with the castle upon assuming the role and its key to Kutanid's seal, throne room, and other important information. The royal gemstones are returned to the crown and eventually fit into place with the help of Akitsu Akane. The crown restores its golden luster, but as they explore, the city begins to shake violently, and reality flips, causing panic. The goal of the mission may have changed, and they encounter the unique monster Kutanid of the Abyss once again. The group falls and lands in a rearranged castle, which appears to be transforming into a coliseum. Emil faints from the impact, but regains consciousness to notice the night sky. Moving blocks of the castle surround them, some violently falling down. The NPCs are okay, and Sunraku wonders if the Colosseum is a future event. Emil experiences some sort of issue, and Sunraku tries to gather information. A voice, scratchy like nails on a blackboard, originates from Sunraku's head and affects everyone. As they search for the source, they spot a giant octopus floating in the sky. They discuss attacking it with long-range weapons. Suddenly, tentacles rain down, revealing that each arm has smaller tentacles that divide and attack. Sunraku realizes the tentacles can be destroyed, and they turn their focus to that instead. Sunraku prepares for battle against the boss, analyzing its attacks and weaknesses. With quick reflexes, he avoids the tentacle projectiles and attacks with his weapons. After destroying all the tentacles, the magic circle shifts and reveals the true form of the boss, Kutanid of the Abyss. Sunraku and his team plan their strategy and engage in battle, with Rei acting as a tank to withstand its attacks. Mold casts buffs on the team before the fight begins. Sunraku prepares for the battle with Kutanid, but notices that Kutanid's tentacles are glowing different colors. Sunraku wonders if it's a gimmick of some sort. Suddenly, he hears a woman's voice, which he assumes is a hallucination caused by Kutanid's power of inversion. Sunraku realizes that he has been transformed into a woman and tests his new abilities. Rei is also affected by the transformation, and Sunraku carries her around while avoiding Kutanid's attacks. They reunite with the others, including Chunky and Akitsu Akane. Suddenly, a bright green flash envelops everything and the world is overturned once more. Suddenly, the night sky turns white and the Colosseum changes to red, causing confusion among the group. With the help of Rei, Sunraku realizes that the colors have inverted due to Kutanid's ability. Sunraku tries to calm down the panicking group and takes charge by reminding them it's a team effort to beat this MMO. After a good karate chop to Strouder's head, Sunraku explains that Kutanid's tentacles glow blue and green, which respectively reverse genders and color palettes. Rust and Mold have transformed into shoujo manga characters, but they seem to have adjusted to the changes. Sunraku decides to wait and see what Kutanid does next. The group is in a game where their genders have been switched. They must destroy the tentacles holding powerful cups while avoiding their attacks. Sunraku suggests attacking the chalice first to prevent more gender switching. They must carefully chip away at its HP while dodging tentacle attacks. The group jumps to attack the chalice when it gets close to the ground. It cracks, showing it can be destroyed. They must bait the tentacles' attacks and attack them in the meantime. Sunraku's breasts hurt from bouncing around. The blue chalice was once again out of reach, and the team was eagerly awaiting the next light emission. However, it was indigo, which caused Sunraku's agility and vitality to switch. This ability was particularly harmful to specialized characters. Sunraku suggested to switch roles with Rei, who had a more balanced stat distribution. Sunraku was wearing Guardian's armor, which reduced physical and magic damage when equipped as a complete set. Sunraku's HP was low, and the only way to recover was by eating HP recovering fish components. Sunraku was taking a lot of damage, which felt like bones breaking. The game didn't have the effect of crushing one's throat, but Sunraku preferred potions for recovery and didn't mind eating raw fish. However, the others found it odd, and Mold suggested he wear more clothes. They then focused on the battle, realizing the purple chalice had damage reversal and regenerated. They used potions as throwing weapons. Emil announced the indigo color emission, and Sunraku and Rei attacked the chalice. Sunraku was becoming tired. Without thinking, Sunraku takes out his sword and attacks Kutanid's chalices. After destroying all 8 chalices, the tentacles start to roll inward until they are incorporated into Kutanid's body, forming an apple-shaped cocoon. Kutanid then forms something resembling an apple-shaped cocoon made of a jet-black mass. Suddenly, the cocoon violently contracts and starts to shrink its size. Finally, it violently contracts, then expands into a new flesh and blood form. Amidst the chaos, Sunraku and the others are confronted with Kutanid's true random encounter ability, flooding the Colosseum with monsters. Sunraku identifies Kutanid's dialogue as game lore and realizes that they must fight without giving up if they want to defeat Kutanid. As they battle, they attempt to prevent Kutanid from becoming too powerful by reducing the number of smaller monsters entering its mouth. The minigame has 4 forms, including the fantasy form, where players must destroy tentacle projectiles to shoot Kutanid out of the sky, and the imaginary form, where players must destroy tentacles holding chalices with various effects. In the virtual form, players must prevent Kutanid from eating food. Sunraku focuses on growing the bigger monsters, while others take care of smaller ones, and notices that the bigger monsters die quickly. The black hole only affects summoned monsters, and equipment durability becomes a concern. Rei counts the 12th wave, and a huge electric discharge destroys the area. Alvakun warns of the Atlantic Reaper Orca, which is very dangerous. The team survives Sea Emperor's laser attack and electric discharge, but they must avoid incoming attacks until Sea Emperor is sucked into Kutanid Black Hole. Stupid shithead, Strouder, is tasked with finding a boat for their escape. Mortals prepare for the final battle against Kutanid and receive a message from it. The final battle begins. Rust shoots an arrow at Kutanid's chest, but it doesn't penetrate its muscles. The group plans to aim for the legs first before attacking the face. Sunraku uses Infight to fight Kutanid in a one-on-one fist fight. He also uses Moment Sight to slow down time and learn new skills. Kutanid's halo-like object and jewels are suspicious, and Sanraku is wary of them. The jewels scan the players' bodies, but once finished, nothing happens. Sanraku wonders if the number of jewels corresponds to the number of people in the party. Kutanid uses Reflexus as its next move. A blue jewel above Sunraku's head emits a light that concentrates on Kutanid's back, causing it to transform into a 5-meter-tall humanoid figure wielding dual short swords. The group realizes that Kutanid can analyze their playstyles, and it attacks them accordingly. Alva and Rei help Sunraku, while Akitsu Akane tries to deliver a flying kick to the boss's knee, causing the aggro to shift and resulting in a near-fatal swing from Kutanid's giant sword. They learn that Kutanid copies their favorite equipment and skills, and must wait for it to become weaker before attacking. Sanraku prioritizes mobility, agility, and hit-and-run tactics. He easily dodges attacks and jumps off cliffs. He can run on the ceiling and uses a combination of skills to fight Kutanid. Sanraku climbs up Kutanid's great sword and leaves a shadow version to gather aggro. Kutanid has preset movements, which Sanraku exploits. He uses his scorpion gauntlets and lucky hand to attack Kutanid. Rei uses maximum firepower to finish Kutanid off. The party members are low on supplies, and Rust runs out of arrows. Their magic power is also low, making the situation difficult. Sanraku and his team are facing a tough opponent, Kutanid. Their potions have run out, and their weapons and armor are weakening. Sanraku is worried about the possibility of certain bosses that can stop damage with high physical defense. The team decides to play tag with Kutanid to chip away at its health. Sanraku unleashes his Scorpion Gauntlet's final form, Exceed Charge, dealing heavy damage to Kutanid. Rei also unleashes her Armageddon attack, colliding with Kutanid's jet-black tentacles in the ultimate clash. Sanraku's HP is reduced to 1, but Alva catches him and prevents him from receiving fall damage. A black and white attack collides with Kutanid's body, but it is able to survive 8 tentacles wrap around Armageddon fired by Rei, crushing it. The team retreats, as Armageddon is their strongest skill. Alva retrieves Rei, and the team discusses their equipment and battle potential, with Akitsu Akane having the strongest potential. Rei is down in the dumps, and a penalty had made her a dead weight to the team. Rei acknowledges they may face defeat against Kutanid, and expresses her desire to fight on. The group roars in solidarity before facing Kutanid, who is now larger with many tentacles. The possibility of unforeseen circumstances is discussed. Rei uses multiple powerful skills with the aid of expensive magic scrolls. Rust, Alva, Sickle, and Akitsu Akane cooperate with Rei in the fight. Sunraku focuses on using fear to immobilize Kutanid in order to facilitate Akitsu Akane's trump card. They have 3 minutes to defeat Kutanid. Sunraku summoned the tactical war machine dragon, Seiryu, to combat Kutanid. Seiryu transformed into a non-standard specialized reinforced armor, allowing Sunraku to combine with it. Seiryu's ability to manipulate attracting and repulsing forces allowed Sunraku to walk on walls and use a predetermined route via the VR. Sunraku used the power of repulsion to bounce off Kutanid's tentacles to reach its side. Sunraku equipped the twin guns, Caster Pollux, to defeat Kutanid. Sunraku points his muzzles at Kutanid and creates a path through the visor, then jumps and positions himself in front of Kutanid. He fires a barrage of bullets with Caster and Pollux, causing Kutanid to fall back and exposing a gap. Rust approaches Sunraku with a clue about Kutanid's weakness. The ring behind its back has something shiny at the base of every tentacle. Sunraku volunteers to be the decoy while Rust shoots. They plan to hit Kutanid with everything they have before it can strike back. Sunraku deploys a huge cannon named Regulus and confirms Kutanid as a serious threat. Both Sickle and Alva attack its knees, then a massive bombardment hits Kutanid, causing its center of gravity to shift. Rei unleashes the full power of the magic scrolls she used on herself, casting titanomachia, and a huge fist made entirely out of earth emerges, delivering a blow to Kutanid. Sunraku urges everyone to show the power of the strongest player Nephilim Hollow has to offer. The main character, Sunraku, observes Rust using her magic bow, which can shoot out magic attacks like beams, and skillfully takes down jewels on Kutanid's back. However, Kutanid unexpectedly jumps and its remaining tentacles attack. The Rusty Knight, Saiga Zero, pushes Rust out of harm's way and blocks the attack herself. Despite being weakened, she tries to fight back but is overpowered. Rust goes on the offensive while Sunraku realizes he still has a role to fulfill in defeating Kutanid. With only 10 seconds left and low energy, Sunraku commanded Siryu to fly full speed towards the sky. The only way to overcome Kutanid's advantage was to overwrite it. Sunraku equipped Yuzuki's swords, ordered Siryu to launch him towards Kutanid, and used Crescent Vorpal to land a powerful blow. Although successful, Sunraku suffered severe injuries and landed on Kutanid's back. With no energy left and no help in sight, Sunraku told his friends to finish it and watched as they defeated Kutanid. As Akitsu Akane prepared to use Dragon Breath, Sunraku realized that he too would be hit by the attack. He showed a thumbs up to Akitsu Akane and told him to finish it. As he fell to the ground, he saw a dragon and a faint glow of what resembled tears before being swallowed by light and dying. Sunraku has always been satisfied with being himself, wanting to stand proudly in front of others. Despite dying during a battle and expressing anger towards Lady Luck and Orange Jesus, he manages to revive with the help of a friend using a reviving item. Sunraku and his team successfully defeat the monster, Kutanid, and a magic circle appears with intricate symbols and patterns. They hear words in their heads that may indicate a special reward. Sunraku recalls the setting of the world and wonders about future journeys. He remembers he may have to share a book with a magical girl wannabe from a particular guild. Moderation is key in making something stand out, especially in video games. Kutanid awards the group with 8 rewards, each representing a chalice previously destroyed. The lights stop, and players receive bonuses affecting their stats, gender, visibility, and damage power. Akitsu Akane speaks up and negotiates for 2 rewards from Kutanid, leaving everyone surprised. Suddenly, Sunraku notices that no announcement was made about defeating the unique monster, causing concern. Rei explains the announcement system, and Sunraku surveils the area, sensing that something is wrong. Blue starts to wriggle. The calamity known as Blue had invaded the city, and the group found themselves facing a field gimmick known as the Ghost of the Abominable Source. Kutanid urged them to continue their journey and find Bahamut, but they were blocked by a wall of slime. They managed to escape to the coastline, but faced the incoming blue tsunami. Just as they were about to give up, a pirate ship appeared, and Stroud offered them safe passage. They boarded the ship despite its strange ability to float in the air. They quickly climbed up the rope ladder onto the ship. Sunraku conducted an experiment to confirm whether the blue had the concept of aggro. He discovered that it did, and also realized that the blue was a massive monster that could overrun the world. He decided to evacuate since they couldn't physically inflict damage onto it. As they were leaving, a giant transparent tentacle appeared and started pushing the ship towards the surface. They held on tight as the ship moved vertically at a high speed. Lililas was once again dragged into the abyss, taking the blue with it. They obtained several titles and items after clearing the unique scenario. The ship begins to fall, and everyone panics, but they are relieved to see they are being held in place. When the tentacles release the ship, they begin to descend at high speed and crash into the sea. Everyone survives, and Sunraku thanks the others for their help in clearing the unique scenario EX. They were the first to clear the scenario, but Sunraku knows beta testers cleared it before. The ship is headed towards Fifthsia, but they are warned not to get lost. Sunraku plans to rest after the chaotic week and looks through their loot, including 2 chalices, Blue Holy Grail and Indigo Holy Grail. Sunraku considers the versatility of these items and finds the Indigo Grail to be the most interesting and powerful. The ability to switch stats around is considered as good as broken. Sunraku is curious about what grails everyone else chose and is worried about an item that they have. Abyss Warning Bell warns of an incoming catastrophe and is a reward for defeating a unique monster. Sunraku suspects it may be a radar leading to treasure hunting. The group bids goodbye to Alva and Nerase. Sunraku plans to meet Vash to discuss their goals, while Ray has a request. Back in Fifthia, trouble looms among the players. An announcement from the game administrators revealed the defeat of unique monster Kutanid by 5 players, including Sanraku. Rumors about Sanraku's abilities and appearances spread quickly, causing fear among some players. Meanwhile, Saiga 100 of the Black Wolves Guild was boiling with anger, believed to be due to a quarrel with her sister, Saiga 0, over Sanraku's involvement in subjugating 2 unique monsters. The seasoned members of the Black Wolves Guild worried about the impact of their quarrel on the guild and the Shangri-La Frontier community. Group activities like clans and guilds are necessary in the game, as unique events and quests can occur randomly. The unique monsters are one of the most challenging elements of the game, of which only 7 exist, and are usually tackled by guilds to earn respect and glory. But some individuals manage to defeat them alone, like Sunraku. A meeting takes place in the Fifthia branch of Snake's Apple, where Arthur Penselton and Sunraku discuss their recent accomplishments. A female player, Kyo Ultimate, approaches them, asking to join their guild to challenge the strongest players, including the infamous Black Wolves. However, Sunraku rejects her offer due to her unpredictable and potentially dangerous nature. In a concrete room lit only by an old PC, a woman with messy hair and clothes joked about turning their game into a death game. Tsukuyogi warned her against it, knowing it would attract negative attention. Suddenly, a woman burst in and accused the first woman, Tsukuri, of messing with the database. The two argued about balancing the game's powers, and Tsukuyogi tried to mediate, struggling to keep the game from collapsing under their constant fights. 2 women argue over the legitimacy of defeating unique monsters without cheating. Tsukuri swears on her grandfather's grave that she didn't cheat. The conversation turns to a player who has completed multiple quests and defeated 2 unique monsters in only a month of playing. Despite concerns, Tsukuyogi suggests they observe the player without interference. They discuss releasing new content and maintenance issues before Tsukuyogi asks the women to leave so he can work on the 4th stage of the world quest. Tsukuri reminds Sunraku to work in moderation while searching for a player on her personal mobile device. She smiles as she reviews the log records and changes the file classification to observe Sanraku among other players. The group of veteran warriors, seekers, and survivors were in the gloomy jungle, unsure of what monsters would appear after 3 o'clock in the morning. Black Shine, a knight, advised everyone to remain vigilant, while Vigilance, a ninja, remained calm and quiet. Emiria, a cleric with a side job of carpenter, talked about a tame skill that could be effective against Cerberus Tyranno. Reiji, a magic swordsman with a subclass of rider, hoped to find the perfect creature to be his trusty mount. The group's quest involved hunting and subjugating Dracarys Denul, a peculiar dino-owl hybrid known to perform sneak attacks like a true assassin. They planned to save their big and powerful moves for later in case of invasion by other monsters at night. As a party commander, Black Shine led the way through the jungle. They found materials to make potions and were careful to avoid large monsters. Using his Ranger-class subskills, Reiji helped track the Dracarys Denul. The monster, resembling a dinosaur and dragon hybrid, attacked without warning. The party fought back with force and piercing attacks, causing the monster to scream in pain and fall to the ground. With a signal from Black Shine, Emiria attacked with her mace. 2 swordsmen, Reiji and Black Shine, strike Dracarys Denul's head with their straight swords, using the skill Beheading, and deal major damage to the monster. Suddenly, a cannonball hits the monster, but it's not enough to kill it. Vigilance is attacked by an unknown enemy and explodes. A dragon, Noirlind, appears and crushes Blackshine to death with its claws. Reiji tries to introduce himself, but the dragon corrects him and reveals that its name is Noirlind. The encounter with the dragon leads the player base to speculate, and the third part of the world quest, the Great War of Falling Gold, begins. For fighting Kutanid of the Abyss, a party of 8 with at least 1 heavy tank is recommended. To initiate the unique Scenario X, players must first accept punching the Apostle of the Abyss and meet its conditions. After the first completion, players must wait at least 2 weeks before attempting it again. Inverted Underwater City. Lulilas has a varying array of monsters depending on the time of day. It has 4 towers housing Sea Lords, who have unique abilities connected to Kutanid's power. To defeat Kutanid, players must cancel the gimmick of the Lulilas castle top floor and seal its abilities. Kutanid has 2 forms, Delusion and Illusion. Delusion cannot be defeated, while Illusion attacks using tentacles and a special ability called Abyss Glare. Kutanid has 8 tentacles, each with a unique ability that affects players and NPCs. Destroying one of Kutanid's holy grails causes it to shift to the next corresponding color and power until the end of battle. In its 4th form, Kutanid is a huge jet black sphere that absorbs summoned monsters, affecting its total HP pool. In its final form, Kutanid possesses a 2-level behavioral pattern and can imitate the players' and NPCs' play and motion logs. Its goal is to destroy the Abyss jewels on its back, dealing massive damage to its health bar. As a keeper from a typical TRPG, Kutanid's goal is to see if humanity can overcome challenges it throws at them. Kutanid is a living magic concept engraved onto the world itself and initially lost everything after being given the power of inversion. The reverse keystone held at the top of the Lulilas castle is a key item indispensable when talking about Kutanid and its keeper, the Queen of Lulilas. Kutanid is the warning bell for the awakening of the Source, originating from before the era of gods, and now it is slowly starting to awaken. Sunraku watches the rain outside and wonders if it will continue into tomorrow. A typhoon is predicted, which may result in a forced holiday. As an honor student, Sunraku has a lot of homework to do. Sunraku contacts their parents and decides to wait for a pickup car. They feel pity for the people who have forgotten their umbrellas. Sunraku thinks that it would have been better to not have any homework on this rainy day. However, they know that attending self-defense training is mandatory, even on a rainy day. Sunraku notices a boy at the school entrance who is unprepared for the rain. He smiles as he runs into the rain with his school bag. Sunraku wonders why the boy was smiling like that. Sunraku follows the boy to a game shop and realizes that the true nature of their feelings is revealed. Summer vacation is now over, and it is time to make a move according to Sunraku's friend. Sunraku decides to walk to school today instead of taking a car. As summer draws to a close, Sunraku prepares for the start of the school year. Though he's concerned about balancing his studies and gaming, his larger issue is the magical girl from Library Guild, who's been spamming him with messages, over 25 so far. Tired from repairing his weapons, Sunraku logs off and heads to school, where he becomes suspicious of someone following him. Though he considers the possibility that it's someone who just happens to be walking the same path to school, he can't help feeling like he's being stalked. Sunraku walks home from school and notices someone following him. He's unsure what to do and doesn't want to admit to being followed, so he continues on his way. Suddenly, a girl from school approaches him, and they strike up a conversation about playing a video game called Shanfro. The conversation goes smoothly, and Sunraku even manages to make the girl laugh. A cicada passes between them. As a cicada falls, it lands on Saiga-san's forehead before jumping onto Sunraku's cheek. Sunraku falls to the ground in pain, twisting his leg in an awkward position and worrying about the fate of his wings. Hizutomo Rakuro apologizes and is manhandled. Saiga-rei's strength is evident. After Saiga-san apologized for the cicada incident, Sunraku resumed walking to school. While others had spent their summer vacation outdoors, Sunraku had stayed indoors. A lot of people were talking about Shanfro, but Sunraku was more interested in browsing the internet. Guilds were a popular topic, but it was not of much interest to Sunraku. Guildmaster Arthur Penselton greeted Sunraku at Fifthseer Port and wanted to talk about the unique monster defeat. Sunraku introduced new members to Arthur, and she attempted to brainwash them. Sunraku was asked about the evasion stat and Wazeman's special attacks, but was unsure who was asking the questions. Sunraku comes across a player with familiar equipment and speech in the game who has a strange element that normal human characters should not have. The player with animal ears seems to know Penselton, and they talk about magic and physical stats. Saiga 0 and Saiga 100, possibly sisters in real life, argue with each other and blame Sunraku for ruining their guild's chances of glory during unique monster battles. Penselton intervenes and stops the argument. Sunraku considers disclosing information from the world's truth book, but decides to apologize for borrowing Rei-san for 7 days. Penselton asks if Sunraku unlocked a unique quest related to night prowler Lucan. Rei revealed that Sunraku struggled to defeat a difficult boss during the quest. Sunraku tried to ease the tension by sharing a decoy piece of information. However, another player expressed interest in joining Sunraku's guild, causing Penselton to react violently. Saiga Zero's transfer from the guild Black Wolves to Wolfgang caused quite a stir, especially since Wolfgang had defeated 2 unique monsters. People speculated about possible connections between Saiga Zero's transfer and the defeat of Wolfgang. Hizutomo Rakuro, the protagonist, tried to research this, but found only irrelevant forum posts. He also asked if any students from his school had debuted on Shanfro during summer vacation, before stopping by a game shop called Rock Roll. The shop owner teased Rakuro for not making good on his promise to be more productive, but Rakuro asked for any new shitty games anyway. Iwamaki-san is dedicated to gaming, but Sunraku prefers to enjoy his pastimes at his own pace. Iwamaki-san recommends a game with a secret unbeatable boss. Saiga-san enters the store, and it is revealed that she and Sunraku attend the same school. Iwamaki-san recommended Shanfro to Saiga-san, and Sunraku decides to play it. Sunraku regrets getting his friends into a dangerous situation, but is forgiven easily. Sanraku and Emul visit Break to report their defeat of Kutanid. They show Break their damaged equipment and request new weapons. Sanraku has an abundance of money and materials. He demonstrates this by taking out a large amount of materials, overwhelming Break with the sheer quantity. They show off the proof of their battle and discuss the concept of an anxiety limit in gaming. Sanraku requests new weapons and armor, including a shield, despite specializing in avoidance rather than defense. Break finds a material to make a strong shield and recalls the help of their comrades, including Alva. Sanraku wonders if they can progress without defeating Lucan, and is reminded of the negative effects of the curse marks. The game allows players to change their avatar's race and physical properties, but the curse marks remain constant. Sunraku must defeat Lucan to break the curse. Break will fix Sunraku's gauntlet by tomorrow, but another item will take a week or longer. Despite this, Sunraku is grateful for the possibility of repair. With free time on hand, Sunraku contemplates what to do next.